Inside the Triangle, the Decker Truckline Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Triangle. I am your host, Darren Ladley, and today we have a guest from TVC. His name is, and I'm gonna apologize right now, Nick, because I know I'm gonna butcher your last name. But is it Nick Hillesheim?
You're close, Darren. It's actually one of those tricky German names. It's Hillesheim is how you pronounce it.
Okay, well, me and Katie both were asking that. Neither one of us were close to that. So, all right. So I'm just going to call you Nick, okay?
That's perfect. Don't call me Nicholas. That's what my mom says when she's mad at me, Darren.
And adds in the middle name, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So first off, introduce yourself. And so what do you do at TVC?
So I'm relatively new to TVC. So I've been in the industry for a long time, but I'm the chief sales officer over here at TVC. Prior to coming on board here, I've actually spent the last 13 years in transportation, more on the technology side, Darren. So I worked for a company which I know you guys are familiar with out of Minnetonka, Minnesota, called PeopleNet, Trimble. It's a Trimble organization now, but worked with them for about 12 years, holding various roles in sales. So I actually started out in inside sales, did that for a couple of years, and then I managed a territory of Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico for our regional size fleets, and then moved into a management role where I oversaw both the national and regional sales teams at the organization. So I did that for about 12 years and then ended up going over to Smart Drive, which is a camera-based company out of San Diego, which recently was acquired by OmniTrack. So I spent a year there as the vice president of sales and then came over here to TVC just a little over a month ago.
Well, PeopleNet, I am familiar with them. We've never used PeopleNet. We've always used Qualcomm, and then now we're going to Geotab.
Okay.
And then Smart Drive. Yes, we utilize Smart Drive.
Awesome.
But they're not cameras. They are event recorders, okay?
That's
As
right.
a salesman, you should know that, Nick.
Yeah, no, it's the buzzword in the industry is usually, cameras is what everybody knows them as. But I agree with you, Darren. They're definitely event recorders, and I mean, you guys, I know you know the value of what those can bring to the table.
Extreme value. They've saved a lot of drivers' lives, a lot of their careers, and a lot of our money, our hard-earned money, just from legality savings. I guess describe TVC and how can it help our drivers?
Yeah, so I'll just give you a little background about the organization. So TVC is based out of Oklahoma City. Been in business for just over 32 years, and we mostly focus on providing legal protection to our nation's drivers through a network of attorneys. So essentially, what it is, Darren, is like our members all have access to attorneys in the county or jurisdiction if they receive a citation in that jurisdiction. So with that, you have somebody basically in your corner that's going to be fighting for you in that jurisdiction, so you don't have to worry about traveling to that jurisdiction to fight the citation yourself. One of the advantages of TVC, at a high level too, is all of our members pay a $0 handling fee for handling any of the violations, and we're the only provider in the space that actually handles serious violations.
So, what is the cost though to one of our drivers?
So it's a monthly membership, right? So if one of your drivers signs up, what we've been negotiated with Decker is a $29.95 per month plan. So when you think about it, right, I mean, it's really similar to a cup of coffee a day to have peace of mind that you'll have someone fighting in your corner, no matter what jurisdiction you get a violation.
What does TVC stand for?
It's Trucker's Voice in Court.
Okay. All right. Wow. I would have never, I was thinking, what would it, in my head, and it never even dawned on me. That was catchy. I like that. Okay. So how, if a driver gets a ticket of some sort, how do they handle the citations through is it through customer support? Do they have a person specifically assigned to them once they sign up, or how does that work?
Yep. So, really one of two ways that we can go about it, Darren. So drivers can either submit their citation information to the internal team at Decker, or they can relay it directly to us if they choose to do so. It's really easy, right? We try to, make it as easy as possible for the drivers to submit them. So I would say, a tip for all the drivers that are using it today are those that are thinking about it. If they do receive a citation, the fastest way to submit it is just take a picture of the ticket and they can text it to 405-455-8276. Or they can email it to our email address at legal@prodriver.com. One of the other, awesome things that we released, I think it was probably a couple of years ago, Darren, is we actually have an app. So, drivers can go in, they can download the app either, through the Apple Store or the Android store, and basically download the app, and they can upload the citation information right on that app as well.
Wow, that's very convenient. One thing we ought to do then maybe is put that TVC. We use TransFlow, and on our app, and we have the CAT scale app on there, and we have some other apps on there. I don't know if you've talked to Lisa about that. Maybe we need to see about maybe getting that app added to our so if drivers have it right there that choose the service.
I think that's a fantastic idea, Darren. Because there's one thing that I've realized, especially being in the technology space, is the easier you make it for everybody, the more, adoption you get with the technology or, the services that you guys are providing for the drivers, right? And and I'm guessing this application it's like a Decker app that you guys developed, and basically everything resides in that Decker app, right?
Yes. So I've got it opened up now because I drive part-time here and there, and we've got Pilot is on there, CAT scale is on there. We have a weather app on there. So, we have a lot of different things on there. So yeah, it would not be hard, I don't think, to add that to it. So I'm going to bring that up, and if you would too, I'd like to bring that up to Lisa and see if we can't get that added.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Okay. So yeah, that's an awesome service. I'm glad to see that, how easy you make it for the drivers. So, how many citations has TVC helped resolve for our Decker drivers? Do you know offhand?
So yeah, actually just looked this up because I figured you were going to ask me this question, Darren. And so Decker's been a customer, I want to say, since July of last year. So we're about 10 months in on our partnership with you guys. And to date, we've actually we've had probably a little over 50 citations that have been turned over to us. And, some of those are still, going through the process, but we've successfully resolved 33 of them. So, really fantastic results, what we're seeing so far.
So, of all the tickets that our drivers get, what is the largest number? Is it in overweight tickets? Is it in speeding tickets? What are we involved in the most?
So, historically, if you look at it over the 32 years, Darren, we've handled over 1 million traffic violations. And then I looked up, what categories those violations commonly fall into. And FMCSA statistics, they show the most common violations are speeding, driving recklessly, making improper, erratic traffic lane changes, following too closely, and then overweight violations. And I would say, if you look at those top violations that we see with FMCSA, it's very consistent with what we're seeing from the Decker team, Decker drivers that are turning stuff into us.
So what can happen to a driver if they don't have TVC? What kind of fines are they looking at? What kind of legality issues are they dealing with?
An interesting stat to think about is 1 in 4 drivers can expect a violation this year. Right. So, you're looking at 25% of all drivers are going to expect to see some type of violation. And one ticket can actually represent about anywhere from 7 to 11 points against a driver's record. So when you look at it, right, you start breaking down the cost of what that really means. Just one speeding ticket alone can cost anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, Darren. So, and how I look at, breaking down that figure, right, is really looking at, what does that mean from lost wages? What does it mean from, travel time if you have to travel to the jurisdiction where you got that citation? What does it mean from a time perspective? And then on top of that, the legal fees if you're trying to battle this stuff on your own. So if a driver doesn't have legal protection service like what TVC offers, they themselves are the ones that are responsible for fighting that citation, or, they just admit guilt and risk potentially having that negative impact on their score. And, which might, at some point lead to, them not being able to drive. So, and then, again, going back to if a driver chooses to fight it on their own, they're the ones that they've got to go to that jurisdiction. They've got to fight it. And, all that takes time and money.
Well, and I can speak from experience. This was a long time ago. Katie was probably in diapers, but I got a ticket down in Texas, and I decided to fight it. And I had to hire. This was way probably before any of these pre-legal. I think there may have been a few out there, but they were very new. And I know what it cost me to hire the attorney to have it done, and it was thousands of dollars at the time. But I had to keep it off my record because let's just say I wasn't the greatest schoolboy in the world, and it was either fight the ticket or lose the license, and I needed the license.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's thanks for sharing that story. I mean, it's always helpful to hear, specifically from drivers and what their experience has been, Darren. One of the other things too, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is, typically when you get pulled over, they're not just citing you for one thing. They're trying to find everything they can under the sun, right? So, I mean, a lot of times you're dealing with multiple citations or violations at one time, right?
Oh, exactly. Well, we just went through the Road Check America, and you look at, and they're out there to nail you for everything they can, which I've seen some pictures of some of the stuff that was out on the road, and it's scary. But it's every one of those tickets is a cost.
Yep. Exactly. And, every one of those tickets, if you're not fighting it, that goes against your driving record, right?
Yes.
Which can have an impact down the road.
So different states have different laws. How do you work with all the different laws in the different states?
How I look at this is, I'm not going to sit and pretend that I know every single law in every state or jurisdiction, right? And I don't think any one of us can. And that's really where the large network of attorneys comes into play, Darren, right? So, I mean, having those local attorneys represent you in that local jurisdiction, that always leads to the best outcome possible.
And I agree. I mean, yeah, it's just like with anything. It's like with fueling here. You deal with a larger network, it cuts your costs. Your fuel is cheaper. You deal with an attorney network of nationwide attorneys, you can work deals, you can get cheaper costs.
That's right.
So what are some tips and tricks for drivers to leverage when they need to resolve a situation or resolve a citation, I should say?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, just, talking about what we did earlier, Darren, and just, leveraging the technology that's at your fingertips, right? Most of us now, we're carrying some type of smartphone or at least have a phone that has a camera built into it, right? So I would say, the fastest and easiest way to get resolution on things and being able to track it and see it through to the finish line is, leveraging that technology. Take the picture of the ticket, submit it, leverage the app. I think if we can get that application built into the Decker app, that's just going to make it that much easier for all the Decker drivers.
When you said with the camera on your phone, so you were with Smart Drive and we have Smart Drive in our trucks. Do you use that information, and have you used it much in a court case?
I think, I don't have any specifics, offhand, Darren, but I'm guessing, all that information, anything that we can do to help that driver fight his case, we're going to leverage, that attorney is going to leverage all that information that they can. So, if it's beneficial to them, I remember back in the day when I was at PeopleNet, and this was, pre-camera days, and, we had the ability, we were tapped into the ECM on the truck, so we could always tell the speed of what that truck was going. And we had a panic button as well. So I would always tell the drivers, like, look, anytime you get pulled over, make sure you press that panic button, because it's going to record 60 seconds before and 60 seconds after. So, that way you can go back and you can prove exactly what speed you were going, because that officer might say, well, I caught you going 75 and a 60. But in reality, you were going 65 and a 60, and you might, be able to point that out, right? Or just show that you weren't speeding at all. So I would say, same thing goes with the cameras. I know you guys have the ability to manually record events. So anytime a driver gets pulled over, I'd strongly recommend, hey, press that button. So that way you're recording the 10 seconds before, 10 seconds after. Leverage the technology that you guys have for your benefit.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. I have told the drivers many times, if you see any situation out on the road and you're worried about it, we call it the panic, or I call it the panic button, but it's just a green button on there. You just tap it, it records it. You may not ever need it, but at least if you need it, you have it.
That's right.
Well, I guess finally, what's outside of legal services, what other benefits does TVC have for their members?
So, again, going back, our core focus is always going to be around that CDL protection and leveraging our network of attorneys to fight the citations. But there's so many other areas that we can help out. So we really want to focus on the entire driver experience and support drivers in all aspects, right? So, I would say TVC does a very good job at this. We truly care about our members that sign up for our services. A good example of that is we have the Well card, which, can help with health, dental, and vision, and providing discounts around that. One of the biggest perks, I would say, though, Darren, outside of legal, is the Roadside Assistance for both the driver and their spouse. So all of our driver members and their spouses are covered in their personal motor vehicles. And we also have the driver rewards program on top of that. So with the driver rewards program, how that works is drivers earn points every single month that they can use for like dramatically discounted rates on things like hotels, restaurants, car rental discounts, and a ton of name brand merchandise. I know drivers that do like their entire Christmas shopping every year with points, and it saves them a ton of money. So, I would say, if guys aren't using that or they don't know about it, that are already signed up for our services, Darren, I hope they hear this because, these are some awesome benefits that come with it outside of the legal.
Well, I really like the roadside service one, especially being married and kids and everything like that. I mean, I've experienced this. I'm sure everybody has, especially as a driver. You get a call from your wife. Hey, honey, I'm sitting out here on the flat tire. What am I going to do? Well, now you're scrambling, trying to help her. You're 1,000 miles away or 500 miles away. At least now you have some sort of backup to it.
That's right. Exactly. So, and, on top of that too, outside of the roadside, all the spousal coverage that applies for the legal matters too, Darren. So, if a driver's spouse gets pulled over, in her personal vehicle, or his or her personal vehicle, then we can assist with those citations as well.
Well, that sounds like something Katie needs. She drives 60 miles to work, and every day, one of these times, she's going to get pulled over. I've seen her. She's doing about 100 miles an hour both ways. Well, I thank you, Nick, for the call and all the information, and I think it's an awesome plan. I really think all the drivers, for what they get, for what little they pay, just the safety aspect of it, I think is well worth the money.
Yeah, Darren, really appreciate you guys inviting me on, and let us know any way that we can assist. Happy to help out. Decker's been a truly a great partner, and looking forward to continuing that partnership with the organization.
Well, thank you very much, and remember, as I always say, keep the shiny side up. So our trivia question this week is, in what Tom Clancy book did Jack Ryan become president of the United States? Make sure you...
Now, if you know the answer, you can email me at podcast@deckermail.com, or you can call me at 2206. The first person who answers this question correctly will receive a gift card from Darren.
So moving on now, we're going to talk about truck washes and trailer washouts. So in the trailer washout field, we have made a big change from $10 to $15 for trailer washouts. In the truck wash, we have changed the policy to you can get unlimited truck washes at the terminals. There is no only once every 30 days. It is unlimited. And we really, really, really would love to see you guys come through the terminals whenever you can, get the truck washed as much as you want. But now we're going to allow, no matter what, one truck wash out on the road at a Blue Beacon. You got to call in like normal, talk to Bruce or one of his girls and get that set up. But you're allowed one every 30 days. But in the wintertime, now from November to March, we're going to allow one every 15 days. That way, in the bad weather, the salt, the grime, the chlorine crap that they put on the roads and everything, we can get that washed off. But you're allowed unlimited washes at the terminals. We really, really want to push you guys to go to the terminals as much as you can because the clean truck is a great truck. We're hoping that this will help ease a lot of issues that you drivers have been talking about out there. A lot of it through Workhound. That's a Workhound win. Thank you for the comments. All right, so let's move on now. Let's cover the scorecard bonus. So scorecards just came out. You should see your checks anytime now in your direct deposit. This month, we had 289 drivers receive a bonus for a total of $50,000. How about $53,542.16. We had 39 owner-operators for a total of $8,984.16. Now, out of those, we had 63 company drivers receive perfect scores. And Katie was actually tracking us down. We had some drivers on that list that was repeats. So we have many drivers that have, so far this year, received a perfect score throughout the entire year so far. Lisa, of course, it's selfie Lisa. What do you expect, okay? Todd Overson, Anthony Vasquez, Robert Anderson, Lydia Dietrich, Dean Sochik, John Hodges, and Lee Hartfordson. So, hey, great job, guys. You did an awesome job so far this year already. So keep up the good work. So on Smart Drive Bonus, we had 182 drivers receive bonuses for a total of $15,502.68. We had 10 owner-operators receive bonuses for a total of $1,000.63. Now, out of those drivers, 132 got a perfect 0 score for the month and 8 owner-operators. So, 0 for the entire month. That is awesome. Great job, guys. So in total, Decker Truck Line has paid out $79,029.63 in total bonuses. Drivers of the month for April 2021, we had West Reefer winner, William Madrigal. Great job. Sean Lamphere, nominee. For the Midwest Reefer, we had Charles Gahn as the winner, David Bodel, nominee, Louis Diaz as nominee. In the team division, we had Dennis and Dorothy. I'm going to butcher it. Katie, what is it?
I would say Neeks.
All right, we're going with the Neeks. All right, if we're wrong, Dennis, Dorothy, call her. Okay. Midwest Flatbed winner, Chris Daniels. Southern Flatbed winner, Jesse Carter. And runner-up, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your first name. Sorry, it's Mr. Purnell.
Just try.
All right, we're going to give it a shot. All right, Mr. Purnell, I'm butchering this. It's Carnuri. Sorry, I'm blaming it on Katie. All right, and then owner-operator lease purchase driver of the month is Thomas Remington, our cook extraordinaire. Great job, everyone. Great job. Keep it up. And you're all in the running for the Grand Champion Driver of the Year for 2021. So keep up the good job, and we will see you on the flip side. As always, thank you for listening to Inside the Triangle. Don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening on. That way you will know when the new episodes drop. And remember, submit your questions to podcast@deckermail.com, and you could be featured on one of our upcoming episodes. The best way to do this is to create a voice memo on your smartphone, record your question, and email it to podcast@deckermail.com. Once again, thank you for listening. Stay driven to be the best.